All right, welcome to round one. We won the die roll, and of course, we have the hand with 3 islands and the Gifted Etherborn. I think I'm going to keep this on the play. If I draw any servo schematic, like I have the Bastion Inventor on turn 4, if I draw any swamp, I have the Etherborn. I could lose just by drawing islands, but I think I have a lot of early game, so the fact that, like, any swamp, I have 7 swamps in the deck, and then also 7 other, or remember, other than the Etherborn, I have 6 other cards that cost 2 or less. So I'm actually pretty, like, even though this, like, that doesn't seem that realistic, I think I was pretty likely to get there. I could make this trade, but I think I'll wait. I don't necessarily have a great reason for that. He could definitely, like, kill my Gifted Etherborn if I do, but I don't have that much removal. But if I draw some other creature, like, I can, this will be better late game. It can maybe block a big vehicle or something. Because if I did trade, then I could attack with my turtle this turn. He can't attack with that. Yeah, I actually should have attacked because I have the whale, I actually want to get counters on my turtle. And now I can't. Because, like, the whale allows me to just kind of go off with the turtle. I guess we just pass. This is kind of a tough spot, too, because now if he has got a card like Precise Strike or something, I don't know if he'll do that into open mana, but it can get me if he has it. So I definitely should have traded. I can certainly get punished for this. If I had more spot removal in my deck, then I think that it would be a decent card here. The Trusty Companion was actually really annoying against Turtle. I was hoping to draw something there, because now we're going to take a bunch of damage. And now we're getting super punished for not having the turtle as a 1/4. So already not playing too hot. Should have really thought that through. Like, because the Trusty Commandant has Vigilance, it was like I was never going to get a spot where I could attack the turtle in and not just lose it, like, for free, basically. So we are going to take 3 free damage here, essentially, which kind of sucks. Have not drawn great, but we will have the whale next turn. So I don't really know exactly what he can do to deal with whale. I guess the best thing he could do is play a big creature this turn. So hopefully we don't get tempoed out with, like, him just, like, Chandra's Revolutioning my whale a few turns in a row. But I'm pretty comfortable if I get to untap here, because I get to put another body in play. Another eagle could be annoying, actually, because then he can attack with his infiltrator and his eagle. But removal isn't the end of the world. But like I said, if we untap, I think we're in a pretty commanding spot. It is another eagle. Wow, that is really annoying. Oh, he's just teaming me? That's pretty scary. I expected him just to attack with this and this. I mean, as stands, I get to just eat this and block here, right? I'm going to go to 3. I might just die to his flyers. Oh, maybe I should have chumped. Yeah, I guess this is a good attack, because this, if I just don't draw a flyer, I'm dead. So I think I messed up. I did draw a flyer. Wow, very lucky. I think maybe I should have chumped, actually. I would have been at... Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we're not in great shape. Like, he's got the Fireweaver online. Don't really know exactly what we can draw here to get ourselves out of it. We're dead to any removal spell, obviously. Yeah, this whole sequence, I did not play this game very well. I've really not been playing well recently. It's pretty frustrating. I need to think through my turns better. Okay, that's pretty problematic. 2 artifacts and we're dead. Okay, he wants to trade for the pirate. So I'm dead to any artifact here, which is not a great place to be. Yeah, my opponent played this well, actually, and I did not. I think that whole, like, me just attacking with the 2/3 right away would have actually changed this game significantly, because then I can attack with the turtle the next. He's only got the Osprey. Okay, well, I was just gonna die to this no matter what I did, so I feel a little bit better. Opponent's deck is pretty solid, but we just did nothing in the early game, which is pretty unfortunate. I do like the Dispersal Technician if he's got the Untethered Express, as that can be hard to deal with. I think I'm going to cut Implement. I don't really think I need late game against this guy, even though he did play a lot of flyers, which is sort of a problem. Don't think Subtle Strike is that great. I really wish I had some sort of blocker here, some sort of he's got or flying blocker. I mean, Select from Inspection could be okay. Oh no, he's got the 2 eagles, which give his creatures Vig. But I think that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and just submit this. I'm not sure about trade wins, though. If he goes like all in on an attack, it can be kind of nice to have. Oh, alright, we have a Confiscation Coup this time, which can't really complain about not drawing one last time, but we just needed one or two. Well, I don't know. He had the Revolution, so it was going to be tough either way. I think he drew the Revolution because he had a turn where he definitely could have, like, hit the whale and just attack with his flyers. I had a pretty sketchy hand last game. That didn't pan out. Play the Swamp first. Let's try to tighten up here. I don't really want to lose with this deck particularly. I have the Assembler and Coup. Like, Assembler is just so good late game if I get there. Reckless Fireweaver. God, that Trusty Companion was so good. Alright. It's going to be interesting to see if I don't draw a 5-drop what I'm supposed to do on turn 5. I guess if he plays like a... If he plays like a Untethered Express, obviously I'll take it. But otherwise, I don't really know exactly what to do. I guess I can wait. The problem is I can't actually coup. I can't actually Confiscation Coup a Dawnfeather Eagle. Which is sort of an issue. Because it costs 5. So if he plays an Eagle this turn, we might take a bunch of damage, but the Gifted Aetherborn's a reasonable draw. I can still, if he plays an Eagle, I can still trade the Salvager here, and block the Cogwork Assembler here, and trade this for SRAM if I want. I think that if he had, ooh, he's got a Hungry Flames. It's pretty gross. I don't really want to be forced to Confiscation Coup, but the SRAM is kind of scary. And I do have the Cogwork Assembler late game. Like, eventually I can copy the Filigree Familiar to gain life and stuff. Starting next turn, we do a Self-Assembler. So I think I'll play that. I think the reasoning is, yeah, Confiscation Cooing on SRAM or Filigree is fine, but here, this just blocks everything if he plays an Eagle, and also lets me like, I don't really want to steal either of these. Obviously stealing like SRAM or Filigree is going to cut him off a card eventually, but I think I'm in pretty good shape if I untap, because I can just start copying Filigree Familiar to gain life. I guess he's got the 1/3 to block, but if I can draw Defiant Salvager, actually, I can like copy the Filigree Familiar and sack it. Deadlock Trap. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I'm at the point where I think I might actually Confiscation Coup his Filigree Familiar, just because it allows me to start attacking. And he's Hellbent. I could also take that. I could also take his Deadlock Trap, but then I only am going to have 1 energy left over. Okay, this is a big turn. I think because I have 7 lands for the Cogwork, and I have 2 like, I want to hold the coup as long as possible, but he's not even necessarily going to draw anything. So the question is, what do I coup? What do I coup? The Deadlock Trap's pretty annoying, I will admit. The Eddy Trail Hawk is kind of annoying, but I can maybe kill him with the Eddy Trail Hawk. But if I take the Familiar, that denies him a card and gives me a card, which is also pretty good. If I leave the Eddy Trail Hawk in play, he's just going to be getting in for 3 every turn, like tapping my Plunderer, but that costs him a lot of energy. And I will, if I don't draw anything next turn, I can just start gaining life by copying the Filigree Familiar, which is pretty nice. The other thing, if I steal Trap, the Plunderer does give me energy. Like, I can just, every time he can just trade, but if I hit him, it will give me an energy every turn, which will allow me to use it. This is actually really tough. I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to do. There's an argument to taking any card that's not Reckless Fireweaver. If I don't take SRAM, he can just, draw extras off of it, which I really, really don't like. The Hawk just does so little on my side of the board. Filigree Familiar is good. I mean, I guess Filigree Familiar is more likely to draw him a card than SRAM. So taking that almost guarantees a card, where like the SRAM represents, maybe 0 cards. But if I take the Trap, maybe I should just take the Trap. I don't know. He could have more energy stuff in his deck. The problem is, as soon as he blocks the Plunderer with the Hawk, I'm out of energy. If I take the Familiar and then he kills it, like my Cogwork on it is worse, I think I should take the Familiar. I don't think life total is that bad, so I think the Familiar denies him a card. It allows me to attack this turn as well with this guy. And I just can block the Eddy Trail Hawk with my Plunderer. This can go wrong in a lot of ways. Like, if he draws any reasonable threat this turn, like an Untethered Express. Untethered Express is like the card that we've seen that this could be really problematic. But we are going to start putting a ton of pressure on him now, because starting next turn, I can just copy my Filigree attack with the team. Or even, it could even be better to copy Self-Assembler. Not to mention, like, whatever we draw can be relevant. Maybe I should have taken the Trap. If I take the Trap, I can copy it to generate 2 energy. This is just, I can keep talking about this. It's really hard for me to, like, talk it through and also know what's right or whatever. It's a pretty solid draw. I think I will attack with the Plunderer. I'm enough ahead here where I don't mind letting him attack with my Hawk next turn, because I'm just going to play the 7/5 and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Does also give me another energy. I think, yeah, maybe I should have copied the Trap. I think this is a pretty big mistake. This Filigree Familiar just does nothing on the board. Where the Trap is like, whoever has the Trap, even though I'm ahead enough where it doesn't control the game, but if I had the Trap, I think I'd be controlling the game a lot. Because I can, like, tap. I could have, like, tapped. Well, actually, if I tapped his Hawk, then I wouldn't have enough energy to, like, you need 1 energy for the Plunderer to do anything. That's pretty good with the Cogwork plus Filigree Familiar. So let's declare combat here. I think this game is just going to end pretty quick. Drawn 2 pretty reasonable draws in a row. But you can kind of see how Assembler, like, obviously I'm playing against a red-white deck that doesn't have that much late game. But Assembler just... That's why I was super psyched to see the self-assembler, because the Cogwork Assembler just kind of ends the game, I think, for the most part. I have enough relevant artifacts. Like, I have big artifacts, and I have, like, I don't have one, but server schematics to kind of just get a ton of value. But yeah, I don't... Other than barring a Fumigate, I don't really think my opponent can come back here. Maybe like a Walking Ballista or something. Don't even think that would be enough, honestly. He's got an Eagle. Oh, he's got an Enraged Giants. Don't even really think he can attack with that. So I could copy Familiar. He's going to tap my big guy. I think I just copied the Familiar. I think that's better than hitting him for 7, like drawing a card and gaining 2 life. Because let's say I copy the Breaker. I attack with Breaker, Breaker, Self-Assembler. And he actually can just... He's going to tap 1. He doesn't even have to block. He can go to 1 life. So yeah, let's just do this. I guess there was no reason for me to do it now. I guess there was no reason for me to do it pre-combat, because he might do something different. But it's okay. Next turn, I can copy the Barricade, and he's in trouble. He only has 1 energy left as well. Opponent's deck seems rather solid for a... red-white deck. Ooh, Druid Aether Trade wins, so I think we're like 100% to win, almost. Like, yeah, he does have 1 more turn to draw a Fumigate, which probably wouldn't even be in his deck, but once we untap, it's just over. It's possible dealing him 7 was better, but this is better in case, like I said, in case he's got a Fumigate or something ridiculous, like having the extra card. Versus dealing him 7 seems better. I'm surprised he killed that and not the Cogwork Assembler. That seems a bit strange to me. Jesus. Should I show him the other Confiscation Coup? I actually think I should try to win without it, because if I show him another Confiscation Coup, he's much more likely to bring in, like... I guess if you saw 1 Confiscation Coup, you would definitely side in, like, an Acrobatic Maneuver or whatever. So I think it's the point where it doesn't really matter if I show him that. Though it could make him, like, play in a weird... Like, it might make him play really aggressive in the last game, which I don't really want. This is weird. I hate this situation. I think I should just win if I have it. Take the Giant. He taps the 7/5. I swing with everything. Giant's 4. Yeah, he's just dead to this, so I think I will do it. Even though I don't want to show him. He's just dead on board of this. He can tap the 7/5. He can block 2 of the 2 powers. And then he takes 8 from the rest. Well, if he blocks the Fireweaver here and this here, actually, does he live? Yeah, actually, maybe he lives through this. I forgot that the Fireweaver was 3 toughness and it can actually chump the Giant. So he does live. Oh, he lives by a lot. I don't know exactly what I was thinking. Don't know exactly what I was thinking there, but don't think it really matters. I showed him another one. Like, he already knows I have one, so he'll be playing around it if he can. Okay, so we're on the draw for this last game. Didn't see any more X1s for the Subtle Strike, so I don't think we want that for any reason. Excuse me. He said knock that off in chat. Yeah, that's... I would be pretty annoyed if my opponent played 2 coups against me. So what can I do here to optimize my sideboarding? Mobile Garrison might be reasonable. He does have the 3-1 that, like, can not be blocked by artifacts. I'm not sure about Rebuke, but I think it's pretty good against Dawnfeather Eagle. Also, I'm not sure about Dispersal Technician either on the draw. Yeah, maybe we'll cut the Technician. It's only really good if he's got the Train. I would actually want Select for Inspection, except for the fact that this guy has 2 Eagles, which kind of nullifies it completely. But yeah, I'll take the Mobile Garrison. I think I just want some more early game stuff. Even though Garrison requires other shit to be good, like, I think that it's a spot where you want to make sure that I just do something on the first, like, even do something on the first turn or two, or sorry, on like turn 3, I guess would be the turn where I would do something. Opponent's on 5, and our hand's really nice. Oh, he kept a 1-lander. Okay, well, this game's probably gonna, assuming we can get to 5 lands, I don't really think there's anything he can do. This actually, yeah, this actually very well is going to be my best deck. I'm actually going to pass here because I want to counter. I don't want to let him turn the Trusty Companion online because I can like counter his next threat and then maybe Confiscation Coup his next threat and just leave him with a Trusty Companion that can never attack. I don't think I need to be aggressive at all here. And if I can draw lands, Servo Schematic is interesting. If I draw a land, does that let me play the Barricade Breaker? No. So we're just going to play Foundry Screecher. I think we're going to have more than enough time to get to 5 lands here, but our opponent is already casting his spells. Filigree Familiar is a little annoying, but it's not really that annoying. Like, I'd much rather him have that than a super impactful 3-drop. It's going to be interesting to see if he just attacks with the Hyena here. If I draw a land, I can play Foundry Hornet, which is nice. Opponent could definitely win with an Untethered Express. So I'm hoping he doesn't have that. Just going to block here, save some damage. Hope he doesn't have Untethered Express. He doesn't. We draw land. All right. Things are looking up. I think I'll probably be able to draw a land before my opponent kills me. Though right now I have no energy, and my opponent didn't have a 4-drop. So he could just play multiple 5-drops, you know. Oh, actually, I should have left the Servo back. He could have a Dawnfeather Eagle. He's got 2. He could also have a Shonda's Revolution. But we know that he doesn't have a 5th land. He'd have to draw it. So I actually don't mind attacking with the Servo. I don't even know if he played an Eagle, I think I wouldn't trade for the Familiar. Yeah, it is a Revolution. That's not that surprising. Oop. All right, 5th land is super nice. Now we can play the Barricade Breaker or the Coup. If he plays a Dawnfeather Eagle, I'll probably just Coup the Filigree Familiar to save life. Because if I Coup the Filigree Familiar, that'll give me 1 extra energy, which will let me take the Eagle the next turn. But Chandra's Revolution is one heck of a card, as you can see there. Like I'm still wary over whether I like it more than Daring Demolition or not. Red is definitely like the best color, but more people just draft it. Look at my hand. My hand is just absurd. Barricade Breaker is obviously not great, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable about this one. I need to be careful with the Barricade Breaker if he's got like some sort of active treason, though Wrangle doesn't hit the breaker, which is pretty nice. Okay, I think I just play the Whale. It's immune to removal, and also is if he plays an Eagle, I can just block the Filigree Familiar. I think it's a little bit better than playing the Breaker, just because if I play the Breaker, he could have like Destructive Tampering or Caught in the Brights or something. This also gives me energy, so if he plays a 5-drop, I can just take it next turn with the coup. So I think it's definitely the play. Opponent really didn't do much this game. He mauled to 5. I can block with impunity here, like he has a trick, or just lets his guy die to draw, which he might do. Fifth land, okay. Just don't think it matters. I just can't imagine what he could do to win this game. Now that I have energy, like before when I didn't have the 6 energy and Confiscation Coup only took 4 drops or less, it wasn't that reasonable, but he could maybe have won. But now it's just over. And once again, I keep mentioning Fumigate, but you get into spots where, you know, you can't possibly lose unless a card like a Wrath of God. It happens in a lot of... You end up thinking about cards like that in a lot of limited formats. Which is kind of why That's actually not a bad card for him, because he can kill it in response to a Confiscation Coup. So that was something he could play. I didn't think of a Multiform Wanderer, but usually the card that gets you back is like a rare or something. That's why I don't like Wrath of God effects, because when there's a Fumigate in the format, I spend so much time thinking about it. Even though there's only one pack of Kaladesh, like it's very unlikely. Like it's under. I don't know what the percentage is, but any white person, any player like playing white is, I think, under like 3% to have one. Which means, like, I hate that when there's only one pack, but you still get into spots where you have to respect it. Otherwise, you just lose to it. But yeah, Multiform Wonder is fine. I'm just going to kill it with Confiscation Coup. I'm pretty sure. I don't want him gaining a bunch of life or whatever. My opponent's deck is pretty good. I've seen a lot of red-white decks, but my opponent's is definitely, like, one of the better ones I've seen. Oh, he didn't actually kill it in response. He could have given it +2, -2 twice. But not like it mattered. Not like it mattered. When people pass you Whale, take it. Whale's so good. Like, all the time they print generic dragons that, you know, just are always good, but die to removal. But this one is just... doesn't die to removal and gives you energy. And has, like, pseudo-vigilance late game. And it can block infinitely. It's pretty absurd. Okay. Ooh, I like how the card's templated. I expected that to be like... I expected that to say, do you want +2, -2? And then if you say no, it gives you the other one. But it actually lets you choose. Self-Assembler's a reasonable draw. I think I actually should play around Fumigate. Like, I don't think there's a reason to play Confiscation Coup at this point in the game. I think I should just give Flying. I can definitely beat a Fumigate by just having Self-Assembler into Cogwork and Confiscation Coup afterwards. Maybe I didn't have to give Flying. But if he double blocks, it's kind of annoying. So I think I'd rather just attack. I guess the double block isn't that annoying. I just don't really want to give him a card. But I'm going to be gaining 5 life here and playing a 7/5, so it just doesn't really matter what I do. The Barricade Breaker is the best play against Fumigate, which is the only card that could get him back in the game. I'm going to give Lifelink for sure. I don't think I'm going to give +2/-2. I think I'd rather have the extra energy so I can Confiscation Coup a 6-drop. I guess now I don't have enough energy to bounce the whale. Maybe the play there was actually whatever. I could sit here talking about all the different lines I could take against Fumigate, or I could just not. Because now that I think about it, like, when I did that, see, that's what happens. When I'm talking about things and not thinking about things too precisely, like, now I can't bounce my whale if he Fumigates me, which is a little bit annoying. Now he can even just kill the whale. I spent all this time talking about how I'd play around it, and now I'm, like, actually kind of vulnerable to it. Though he did just use removal on my Barricade Breaker, so he definitely doesn't have it in his hand. So I think I can actually go ahead and tap out for Self-Assembler plus Etherborn, because even if he does draw it, we then have Cogwork Assembler plus Servo Schematic to end the game. Plus Confiscation Coup. So it still just doesn't even matter. Definitely should. I think the play was to not pay energy for the Multiform Wanderer and just attack with it. Because if he just has no good block. If he double blocks, I can just double pump. Or if he double blocks, I can just kill the Multiform Wanderer or whatever. If he plays a flying blocker, like a Dawnfeather Eagle, I have enough energy to just steal it for the win. Deck is really good. Now you kind of understand why I don't like it when there's only one pack of like a card like Fumigate. Just because I hate having to think about it so much when it's so unlikely to happen. But anyway, see you guys for next round.